Hello and welcome to Throwdown Thursdays. My name is David, and today I'm joined by.
Let's start that again.
I think that's the first time I've messed it up.
Yeah, it is. Well, since you've been with me, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that was alright with James. Yeah, that's the first time. Well, hello and welcome to Throwdown Thursdays. My name is David, and today I'm joined by my good friend and fellow teammate Ashley.
Hello.
And today we are playing Love Letter.
Woo.
One of, I think there's 5 or 6 variants. It's a simple game of draw one card, play one card. And at the end of the round, when there's no cards in the main deck, whoever has the highest card wins. The good part about the interesting part about the game is being able to guess your opponent's hand with card effects and getting them out the round before the round's ended. So you start off with the Baron.
Yeah.
Which is you compare hands and whoever's got the lowest is out. When you do that kind of thing, who do you normally pick on?
Generally, who's annoyed me that day.
It was a little bit unfortunate there because Natalie played the priest. She looked at your hand, you had the Baron, and then you drew into the guard. So what were your options there, really?
Well, I played the Baron hoping that maybe she's got a guard as well.
Because if there's 2 guards, then nothing happens.
Yeah, nothing happens. Or I could have played the guard and just hazard a guess at anything because everything was left.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was just.
And there's duplicates of everything pretty much, as you can see by the side. So the rounds can be pretty quick. Like Ashley, James just won there. He guessed that Natalie had the 9 somehow, miraculously. So Natalie plays the king, so she swaps over with her card with James. So sometimes when you're looking at other people's hands, you have no idea what they've got if it's been swapped. It gets a little bit confusing there. The handmaid? Yeah, the handmaid is pretty nice. Protects you for the rounds.
Yeah.
Which is really, really good.
It's very handy.
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, you compare hands with James, and he's obviously got the higher card than you because his lowest is out, and you discarded your 7. So anything higher than a 7 is the princess, obviously.
Yeah.
Which kind of obvious, which is why Natalie guessed it. I think from the recording she actually swapped at the beginning. She had it at the beginning with the
Right,
with the
so
king.
she knew anyway.
She knew anyway, yeah. But that's obviously another thing you have to keep an eye on. Like when you're comparing hands with the 3, what card you discard depends on what card the opponent has.
Yeah.
If it's like a 1 or a 2, it could be anything.
Yeah.
But the fact that you discarded the countess showed that you had the princess anyway. Do you always play the handmaid straight away, the number 4 to protect?
Yeah.
You never keep it.
Nah, I try not to because sometimes people do call it. Sometimes people just play and they go.
I call it. That's the first thing because it's the only card that would really annoy you that much that you didn't get a chance to play it. Especially when you haven't even done anything.
Yeah. So yeah, I generally like to play it straight away. A bit of protection for one round at least. See what's going on with the other guys. And you can at least set up a plan for them.
Yeah. You've got the princess in hand.
Yeah.
You played the guard and then you called princess. That's a pretty good tactic to kind of get the heat off of you.
Yeah, I'll try. Yeah, you try to do it just to see if it works. Some people do cotton on to what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
And call it start straight away next turn. You're like, oh yeah.
Especially as it gets later in the game, as it is now. Because obviously, you've got the princess. It's got to be out there somewhere. And it was really unfortunate. You drew into the king. You play the king. Give her the princess because James is out the round, and she gives you a 5. And
ridiculous.
Yeah, it was the end of the round anyway. She killed you with the Baron.
Yeah.
Because obviously lowest is out. But even if she didn't draw the Baron, end of the round she would have had the highest card anyway, and you would have won. She would have won. So at the moment it's not looking too good for you. You haven't won a single game out of the 3, but hopefully we'll bring it back. So you start off with the princess. Already that's a bad sign. That's a bad sign. I rarely win when I've got the 8.
Oh, it's so hard to win.
In my opening card.
It's so hard.
It is horrible.
You've got to dodge like 4 guards.
Yeah, exactly.
4 or 5 guards, and then what's the other one? Does the prince, the one that makes you discard cards, doesn't it? And then you've got to try and dodge them. Yeah. It's just mental.
Sometimes you can use the prince. Obviously, you wouldn't now because you've got the prince. But sometimes it's good to use the prince to discard your own hand.
Yeah.
I mean, when I got the king, I hate the king. Whenever I use it, it's always bad. So I just get rid of it. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Just straight up, call queen, princess, and you're out. Out of all the cards she could have picked. It's ridiculous.
Getting picked on as always.
Yeah.
And I have no red cubes for me.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the end of the round. Whoever has the highest wins. So in this case, it's James, luckily. So he's sitting there at 2. Natalie's at 2 as well. And Ashley, you're still...
At 0?
Oh.
Fantastic.
I think you're being picked on a bit. Natalie seems to be aiming a lot of her effects on you. So you start off with Guard, which is nice. I think Guard's quite powerful in this.
Yeah.
Her only weakness is the Baron, because if someone plays the Baron on you, like there, Natalie used the Baron on James. If she used it on you, you would have been out of the round straight away. So you call King.
Yeah.
Because it was the obvious thing. Because the Countess was already played.
Yeah.
Both the Prince was played. It was kind of obvious.
And the Princess was in my hand.
Yeah, the Princess was in your hand. So that was a good win for you. It's a comeback. I believe.
Yeah. Comeback is on.
So you've got the Guard and the Prince here. You decide to go for the Prince instead of the Guard.
Yeah.
Is there any particular reason?
Just a little bit of protection, really. Just in case anyone tries to call me out.
So she played the King on... Natalie played the King on you. She
Yeah.
got your Guard, which is annoying, and gave you the Prince.
Yes.
Luckily... I say luckily, James got you out anyway. So that was unfortunate.
Yeah.
But if you had maybe played another Prince on you, it would have been a good thing. Because then Natalie wouldn't know what's in your hand. I'm saying they're both princes are out, so I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know why James actually takes a long time when it comes to this game. There's a lot of thinking involved, obviously.
Yeah.
Thinking about what cards they got in their hands. But James, noticeably, takes the longest in this game when editing.
In a lot of games.
Yeah.
Him and Stephen are kind of on par with each other, aren't they?
Yeah, I'd say, definitely. So James is, I think, in a 3-player game, best of 5. So James is really, really close. So you start off with the King, which is really horrible, and Natalie picks on you.
Seriously.
Goes for the Guard, calls King, and gets you out straight away. What do you do with that?
Just get up, pick her up, and throw her out the window. That's all I could do, really.
She's light enough, so you probably could.
Ridiculous moves, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, why'd she call the King? I don't get it. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
She called the King.
Sometimes you just have that hunch, though, don't you?
No, it's not good enough. It's not a good enough reason.
You need an explanation.
Yeah, I want an explanation.
So Natalie, James called the Princess, didn't have it. Natalie done exactly the same thing, thinking that maybe he was bluffing her out. Didn't have it, but then he calls the Guard and the Prince, which she obviously had. So James only got one more win, and he gets this one, and time's nearly out. But I believe you can. Some games can end in an instant.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Just a round, like one turn. So you could still bring it back. I believe in you. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
You don't sound hopeful.
As long as no one calls silly cards.
You got the handmaid, so you got protection there.
Yeah, a little bit.
But these two, when you play the handmaid, you really want one of the other opponents to knock each other out.
Yeah.
That allows you to come back into the game with just one less opponent, and then hopefully maybe draw into another handmaid, which would be nice. So James picks on you with the Prince, allowing you to get the King. I can't stress how much I dislike the King. Instances like that, where you have the King and a Guard, and you're forced to play the Guard.
Yeah.
Because obviously if you play the King, you have to give it away. And I like to keep the Guard. And there she goes again, calling the King. And... It's just one of those things, isn't it? I think you can kind of deduce that it's there as well, because the Princess was out. Both Princes were out as well. So Natalie's coming back as well. She's only got 2 more. And she could possibly win this one. She protects herself. You protect herself. So nothing that James does other than playing the Prince himself can actually affect anyone.
We could look at his own hand. So that's a handy ability for him.
She calls Prince. She could have called it on you. You could have been in trouble there. You play Prince on Natalie. I think at this point you kind of just pick on Natalie because she's getting everything right.
Yeah. Keeps picking on me, so I've got to retaliate.
Yeah. There's no solid rule. Natalie's actually been going for James quite a bit as well. I think because he's winning, you kind of want to get him out of the round straight away. So you've had the Princess nearly the whole game at the moment, and no one's clocked on yet. Sometimes it's in your face as well. You start pulling funny faces. Like James played the Prince on you, so there's kind of when you done the Baron.
Yeah.
Obviously, Natalie discarded the Countess, so it was obvious.
Yeah, it was obvious that I had the Princess.
But it just so happened that James had a card to make you discard, which is unfortunate. So you won one game, which was good.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah,
Yeah.
obviously. Yeah. One game.
I can tell by your face that you're
Yeah.
not very pleased with it.
Yeah. I forgot how badly that game went, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm quite depressed now.
Yeah, we actually started off playing on the Hobbit version. So automatically, after playing a couple of games of this, you realise how basic and how it's not tactical. I find a lot the higher cards are really powerful.
Yeah.
The guard's powerful in itself. Late game, obviously, it helps you deduce what cards are still in the deck, what people have in their hand. But other than that, its weakness is the Baron. So once people play Baron, you're going to take a loss on that because obviously it's the lowest card in the deck at the moment.
Yeah.
And a lot of the higher cards, you can keep them in your hand. You can keep the Prince, you can keep the King, you can keep the Princess, obviously. Unless someone calls it with the guard, then you're pretty safe. Which I don't really like, to be honest. I like the other games where it's a bit of mix and match. Everything is more balanced, I find.
Yeah, I've always said the Hobbit version is my favourite version. This
definitely.
version was nice to play, the original.
Yeah.
So it was cool.
I don't think we'll ever play it again, though.
No, probably not. Whenever we play Loveday, we always go to the Hobbit one, don't we?
Yeah, exactly. So maybe we'll stick that one on next.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.
Goodbye.
I didn't even check if it was recording.
And it is.
Yay! That's good. Nice.